Hey everyone, welcome back to Corporate Decoder, the place where we decode the hidden meanings behind corporate filings. And today we're looking at Nasdaq Incorporated, or NDAC. And let me tell you, this filing has some interesting little changes that might just make you go, before we dive in. If you are all about getting the real story behind the corporate jargon, make sure you hit that subscribe button. And hey, we've got a growing community on Discord discussing these very things. The link is in the description below, so come join the conversation. So what is the big news with Nasdaq, the company behind the famous stock exchange? Well, this report is a Form 8K, which is like a current report for really important events that aren't part of their regular financial updates. And what they're telling us about today is an update to their internal rulebook and their foundational charter, the stuff that governs how the company operates at its core. Think of it like a company's constitution and its bylaws. They've made some significant tweaks, and these changes were recently approved and went into effect. The main event here is a change they call limited officer exculpation. Now, what does that mean in plain English? Exculpation basically means protection. So this amendment provides a bit more protection to Nasdaq's officers, meaning their top executives. It is designed to shield them from personal liability in certain situations, provided they acted in good faith and in the best interest of the company. This is a pretty common move for large corporations, aiming to attract and retain top talent by reducing personal risk. But it is always worth noting when these guardrails are adjusted. This change to their certificate of incorporation, which is their main governing document, was approved by shareholders, then had to get the nod from the Securities and Exchange Commission, or the SEC, the big watchdog for us financial markets. Finally, it was officially filed with the state of Delaware, where Nasdaq is incorporated on the 14th of January 2026. But that is not all. They also approved amendments to their bylaws, which are the rules for day-to-day operations. These got approved by the SEC too and became effective on the same day, the 14th of January 2026. So why these bylaw changes? The filing breaks it down, and it looks like they're doing a few things here. First, they're updating their advance notice rules for when shareholders want to nominate someone for the board or propose something at a meeting. This is important because it affects how much say shareholders have and how much control management has over the shareholder meeting agenda. They've updated these rules to keep up with new regulations, especially those concerning universal proxy cards, which is a technical but important aspect of how proxy voting works to ensure fair representation. They're also beefing up operational flexibility for the company and its board. This means giving Nasdaq more room to make changes and adapt its internal procedures without needing a shareholder vote for every little thing. Think of it as streamlining internal processes. They're also modernizing parts of their bylaws to align with recent updates to Delaware corporate law, which is pretty standard practice for companies incorporated there. A really interesting one here is the adoption of a forum selection bylaw. This basically means they're designating specific courts, either in Delaware or federal courts, as the only places where certain legal disputes or lawsuits against the company can be filed. This is a common strategy to keep legal challenges within a familiar jurisdiction, which can be more predictable and potentially less costly for the company. It is like saying, if you want to sue us, you have to do it here. Finally, they've made some general administrative updates and clarifying edits. It's essentially a housekeeping effort to keep their governing documents current and efficient. While there aren't any deep financial tables in this particular filing, the real story here is about corporate governance. These changes to the certificate of incorporation and the bylaws are subtle, but important. They signal a company that is actively managing its internal structure and how it interacts with its shareholders and its own leadership. The exculpation clause for officers suggests a focus on protecting their executive team, which can be good for talent retention, but is always something to watch for any potential overreach. The forum selection bylaw is a strategic move to manage legal risks. For Nasdaq, a company that operates a global financial marketplace, these kinds of structural updates are crucial for maintaining stability and trust. They're essentially fine-tuning the engine of the company to ensure it runs as smoothly as possible, especially as regulations and business practices evolve. While we didn't get a look at their latest financial performance in this specific report like you might see in a 10Q or 10K, these governance changes lay the groundwork for how the company will continue to operate and grow. It shows they are proactive in managing their legal and operational landscape. So, what is my take on this? Nasdaq Inc. is clearly focused on solidifying its internal framework and managing its risk profile. The officer exculpation provides a safety net for its top brass, which is standard practice but worth keeping an eye on. The adoption of a specific forum for legal disputes is a strategic move to control litigation outcomes. These aren't flashy revenue generating announcements, but they are foundational for good corporate citizenship and long-term stability. The main risk here, if any, is that increased executive protection could, in some extreme cases, lead to less accountability, though the good faith clause is a vital safeguard on the opportunity side. A stable and clear governance structure can foster investor confidence and attract talented leadership, which ultimately benefits the company's strategic objectives. In conclusion, Nasdaq is making calculated moves to ensure its operational and legal machinery is in top shape. It is a sign of a mature company that understands the importance of a well-defined corporate structure. Alright, that is our breakdown of Nasdaq's latest filing. What is your take on these governance changes and what they signal for the company's future? Drop your thoughts in the comments. If this analysis was valuable, hitting that like button really helps us. And subscribe for more deep dives into corporate filings. Don't forget to check out the Discord link in the description below to continue the conversation. Thanks for watching. See you next time.